It may look sunny and beautiful, but it is cold here in New York, let me tell you. Don't let any of this fool you. It's freezing. Gloves, hat, coat, very cold. Sound like Donald Trump. Very cool. So a few weeks ago, I went to NAB in Las Vegas, and I got to meet a bunch of awesome people. While I was there, I went to a panel with Sam and Nico from Corridor Digital. And in their presentation, they talked a lot about giving back and how they didn't have a traditional film school experience and how they learned all what they know about digital filmmaking through YouTube. And they talked about how the tutorials that they made, that I watched when I was first starting out, were a way for them to give back to the community. And something about that kind of stuck with me because for a long time I've always considered doing tutorials. For a lot of reasons I never did. I hate my voice, I hate the way I look on camera. I mean, I'm not Steven Spielberg, you know, so who am I to be giving people advice, right? But as I get older and as my career has developed more and more, further and further, finally being able to make a living doing what I love, which is something that I thought I probably would never be able to do, I kind of realized that Sam and Nico were right and that I needed to start passing on a lot of the hard lessons I learned that people don't really talk about, or that people are just plain wrong about. I honestly picked the absolute worst place to film this. There's like a helicopter corridor up here, there's boats, the loudest city on earth is over there, and there's construction going on, so we'll see if any of this actually turns out. So this is going to be a series of videos, and it's going to outline a lot of different lessons that I learned the hard way, and a lot of things that I was just misled about, and I think a lot of people watching this video were probably also misled about too. Things like how gear and cameras and equipment and software, it actually does matter despite what people tell you. A lot of them were things that filmmakers told me to do the opposite. People I looked up to told me things that actually hampered my growth. There's things like how criticism can actually really negatively impact your work. A lot of just these lessons that people tell creatives, artists, filmmakers, journalists that just aren't true. And that I think a lot of people that I met at NAB are walking around believing with their hearts, and until actually making it in the industry, not realizing that a lot of it was just completely wrong. And the first lesson, what we're gonna talk about in this video, is not to listen to people on the internet. Now I know, it's ironic. I'm a person on the internet talking to you, giving you advice. And that's kind of the point, because each one of these people who gives you advice, whether it be Steven Spielberg, whether it be some guy who's just starting out, whether it be me, just some rando on the internet you probably found through a link somewhere, everyone has their own experience. Everyone's path to success is different. So the advice that we give to you, the prospective filmmakers, people looking to make it, to make their living doing what they love, is just to tell you what happened to us. And that doesn't necessarily gonna be true for you. Your situation is gonna be different from mine. And an example I wanna give is I think it was about 2010, maybe 2009. I was starting to get back into video making. I'd done it a lot as a kid, but never really considered it as, you know, a valid career path. And around that time, I saw a video from Freddie Wong from the Freddie W channel, now of Rocket Jump, just kind of giving advice and doing like a frequently asked questions thing on YouTube. And someone asked, what is the secret to getting good at making movies? And his response was something along the lines of, to get good at making movies, you have to just make movies. And to me, a young filmmaker fresh out of high school, you know, those words were gospel truth to me, because everything Freddie Wong did I thought was incredible. He was doing all this stuff without a crew, without having to be a PA for 30 years before you can do anything creative like the film industry is so notorious for doing, in Hollywood anyway. So I took his advice, and every single month for 4 years, I made a movie. Relentlessly, constantly working on a movie. Every single month for 4 years. Time to go mobile. I just got mobbed by a bunch of construction workers, so had to move. So anyway, every single month for 4 straight years, I made a movie and I put it on YouTube. And, you know, I got feedback, I posted it on forums, people tore it to absolute shreds, and I was like, okay, I know what to do better next time, and I made another movie. And I kept doing this for 4 straight years. And I improved, I definitely did. You know, I got better, you can see. I took a lot of them down because they're terrible. But the ones that are still up there, you know, they got a little bit better. But you know, as I met more people in the filmmaking community, I realized that as they were growing at an exponentially faster rate than me. You know, every movie they made, the next one was just so much better. Well, mine were only marginally getting better each time, but I was putting all this effort, even with criticism, even, you know, with the tools to help you grow. Had I not believed that that was the way to get good, was just to keep going and going and going and never stop, I might have had more time to, you know, meditate on what I was doing, to really think about the inherent ways, the inherent flaws in my process that were making my movies, you know, less than they could be. And I think if I maybe hadn't taken his advice so zealously like that, I I would have been where I am now so much sooner. I could have spared myself so many years of just, digging in the trenches of PA work and, shooting gigs in factories and stuff that I'm sure all of you guys have done at some point in your lives. And it's terrible work that we do because we have to do it, not because we want to. In this series, we're going to cover practical advice, things that are going to help you make money doing what you love, because that ultimately is what we want. We want to make a living doing what we love. A lot of these tutorials online are about, being an artist, or making your art, as pure as you can. And honestly, that's not always what it's about. A lot of times we need to make videos we don't want to make. We have to make art we don't want to make. We got to write things we don't want to write, because that enables us to do what we want to do later. And by ignoring all of the practical and financial aspects of being a filmmaker, of the business side of things, you're never going to be able to do things better than you've already been doing. You're never going to get bigger projects, better budgets, opportunities to do things that will improve you as an artist and improve your career. So this series is going to focus as much as it can on those practical elements, focusing on what it means to make money as an artist doing what you love. I want to encourage anyone with any questions at all to reach out to me either in the comments section or on Twitter or Instagram at Keegan Larwin. Feel free to DM me. In some ideal fictional world, the series would be, a collaborative effort, not just from me, but from other creators in other fields doing what they love. I want to demystify the creative process because, yes, it's hard, but it's way more mysterious than it needs to be. And I hope that this series will help demystify, a bunch of the hurdles and barriers that breaking into the industry entails. All right, well, that's it for this episode. Next time, we're going to talk about how gear actually does matter and how it's the biggest lie anyone will ever tell you. Until next time, Keegan Larwin. I'll see you guys later.